You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Sunday, June the 21st, 2020. The Rays and the Orioles played each other in an AL East matchup, and the final score was 9-7. This was even throughout, though the Orioles had the lead for most of the game, but then the Rays broke out with a 5-run ninth inning to take the lead, and they beat the Orioles by 2 runs. Chaz Rowe got the win, Michael Givens got the loss, he also blew the save, and Colin Poche earned his second save of the season. The White Sox and Indians played each other in an AL Central matchup, and the White Sox won by a final score of 8-2. Reynaldo Lopez got the win and Zach Plesac got the loss. The White Sox were thrusted ahead by a 6-run second inning, and they did not give up the lead in this game after that point. The Yankees blew out the Twins 13-3, the final score of this game. The Yankees got 13 runs on 17 hits. The Twins got 3 runs on 8 hits. The Twins scored first with a 2-run bottom of the first inning, but then the Yankees broke out in the 5th inning with 3 runs. They tacked on 4 in the 6th and 4 in the 7th, and they won by 10 runs. James Paxton got the win, and Rich Hill got the loss. The Royals beat the Mariners 6-4, the final score of this game, a game that went 11 innings. The Mariners forced extra innings because they came back, scored 3 in the 8th inning to tie the game at 4. Went scoreless in the 9th, went scoreless in the 10th as well, but then the Royals scored 2 in the 11th inning to win the game. Heath Fillmyer got the win, Brennan got the loss, and Ian Kennedy earned his 14th save of the year. The Astros and Athletics played AL West baseball in this one, and the Astros blanked the Athletics 3-0, the final score. It was a pitcher's duel through the first 4 innings, but the Astros broke out with a run in the 5th inning. They scored a run in the 6th as well, and in the 8th inning, and they won by 3. Zach Greinke got the win, and Mike Fiers got the loss. The Rangers and Angels played each other. This another AL West matchup, and a game that went 12 innings long, but the Rangers scored 2 in the top of the 12th inning to win. They also made a comeback in the top of the 9th inning to force extras, and then they ended up winning against one of their division opponents. Austin Bryce got the win, Noe Ramirez got the loss, and Jose Leclerc earned his 17th save of the year. The Giants blanked the Marlins 5-0, the final score of this game. The Giants also scored all 5 of their runs in the first inning, and there was no offense after that point. Jeff Samardzija got the win, and Sandy Alcantara got the loss. NL East baseball between the Nationals and the Braves. The Nats came out on top by a run, 6-5, the final score of this game. Hunter Strickland got the win, Darren O'Day got the loss, and Sean Doolittle earned his 25th save of the year. Another NL East game between the Phillies and the Mets went 13 innings, and the Phillies ended up winning. The Mets scored a run in the bottom of the 13th in response to a 3-run top of the 13th by the Phillies, but it was too little, too late, and the Phillies won by 2 runs. The Mets also out-hit the Phillies 11-8, but the Phillies won 6-4. Ranger Suarez got the win, Seth Lugo got the loss, and Hector Neris earned his 17th save of the season. NL Central baseball between the Reds and the Cardinals, and the Cardinals won 6-4. Dakota Hudson got the win, Trevor Bauer got the loss, and Giovanni Gallegos earned his 28th save of the year. Interleague play between the Blue Jays and the Pirates, and the Blue Jays blew out the Pirates 11-2, the final score of this game. The Blue Jays started with a 3-run top in the first inning. They also scored 4 in the 3rd and 4 in the 6th inning, and the Pirates scored 1 in the 6th and 1 in the 9th inning, but much too little, way too late. Tanner Roark got the win, and Chris Archer got the loss. Another interleague game between the Red Sox and the Cubs. 4-0, the final score of this game. The Red Sox got shut out. The Cubs scored a run in the 3rd inning. They put up 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 8th. Kyle Hendricks got the win, and Brian Johnson got the loss. The Brewers and Diamondbacks played each other. 7-3, the final score of this one. The Brewers came out on top. The Brewers started with a 3-run second inning. They put up 2 in the 5th and 2 in the 7th. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks scored a run in the 4th and 2 runs in the 8th inning, but they fell short 4 runs. Brandon Woodruff got the win, and Luke Weaver got the loss. NL West baseball, the Rockies beat the Padres 3-1, the final score of this game, and it was quite a pitcher's duel. No team scored more than 1 run in any inning that they scored in. Yancy Almonte got the win, Zach Davies got the loss, and Wade Davis earned his 16th save of the year. And an interleague game between the Dodgers and the Tigers. The Dodgers won 9-8. The Tigers had taken a commanding lead. They scored 5 in the 8th inning. So it was 5 it was 8-3 after the 8th inning, but then the Dodgers in the bottom of the 9th scored 6 runs to walk off the game and steal a win at home. Blake Trinan got the win, and Joe Jimenez blew the save and got the loss in this one. Let's take a look at standings now, starting in the American League East. The New York Yankees still at the top. They're 46-32. They beat the Twins today. The Blue Jays beat the Pirates. They're on a 3-game winning streak now. They're still a game back of the Yankees, though, since the Yankees won. Their record is 45-33. The Rays have won 2 games in a row. They're 38-41, 8.5 games back. The Red Sox are 35-43. They're on a 5-game skid, and they're 11 games back. And the Orioles are still in last place. They also lost today. They're 34-44, and they're 12 games back of the Yankees for first place. In the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins still have the best record in baseball. They're also still at the top of this division. 55-24 is their record. The White Sox are 47-31, 7.5 games back. The Indians are 44-35, 11 games back. The Tigers 30-47, 24 games back, and the Royals won today. They're 27-52, 28 games back of first place. And in the American League West, the Oakland Athletics still lead, though they've lost 3 games in a row now. They're 48-30. They got swept by the Astros, who have gained some ground. The Astros have won 3 in a row, all against the Athletics. They're 44-32 and 3 games back. The Angels are 37-40. They're 10.5 games back. The Rangers are 31-48, 17.5 games back. And the Mariners still in last place with a 27-52 record. They're 21.5 games back. The wildcard standings look like this. The White Sox have the first spot with a 47-31 record. The Blue Jays and the Astros are the same amount of games back of the White Sox for that first wildcard spot. And though their records are different, they both hold that second wildcard spot right now. The Indians, the only other American League team in reach right now of the wild card, the second wild card spot. They're 44-35, a game and a half back, and every other team in the American League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 7.5 games back of that second wild card spot. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals are 46-31. They're still at the top of this division. The Marlins have lost 3 games in a row, so they've lost some ground on the Nats. They're 43-34, 3 games back. The Braves staying in it, though they've lost 2 in a row. They're 40-37, 6 games back. The Phillies have won 2 games in a row. They're 36-40, 9.5 games back. And the Mets are still in last place with a 33-44 record. They're 13 games back of the Nationals for first place. In the National League Central, the Cardinals continue to lead. They're on a 9-game winning streak. They're 45-32. The Cubs are 38-40, 7.5 games back. They've won 3 games in a row, and they're the closest team next to the Cardinals to have a winning percentage at 500 or more. Every other team besides the Cardinals in this division has a winning percentage under 500. The Brewers are 36-40, 8.5 games back. The Reds are 32-46, 13.5 games back. And the Pittsburgh Pirates have lost 5 games in a row. They're one win away from 30, but they're still at 29 wins. 29-47 is their record. Again, 15.5 games back of the Cardinals for first place. In the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers still lead. They're 52-26. The Diamondbacks, the next best team in the division. They're 43-35, 9 games back. The Padres are 43-36, 9.5 games back. And the Rockies are in 4th place with a 31-46 record. They're 20.5 games back. And the Giants are 30-47, 21.5 games back. Though they've won 3 games in a row, they're still in last place. And the wild card standings look like this. The Marlins have the top spot with a 43-34 record. The Diamondbacks a half game back of that first wild card spot with a 43-35 record. Then you have the Padres, who are a half game back with a 43-36 record. The Braves, 40-37, 2.5 games back of the Diamondbacks. And every other team in the National League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 5 games back of that second wildcard spot. And looking at league leaders now, starting with batting average leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera has the highest in this league with a 358, Carlos Santana second best with a 347, and Miguel Andujar third best with a 342. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has a 379. He's still at the top. David Dahl second best with a 351, and Jonathan Villar third best with a 341. Hits leaders in the American League, Miguel Andujar is at 110, Miguel Cabrera is at 106, JD Martinez and DJ LeMahieu tied for third best with 105. In the National League, Jonathan Villar is 113, Paul Goldschmidt second best with 107, and Ronald Acuna Jr. third best with 96. At bat leaders in the American League, DJ LeMahieu has the most with 324. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has the most with 331. Doubles leaders in the American League, Anthony Rendon at the top with 28. Giancarlo Stanton, second best with 26. And Jose Abreu and Miguel Andujar tied for third best with 24. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 35. Christian Yelich, second best with 27. And Ketel Marte, third best with 24. Triples leaders in the American League, Jose Altuve and Adalberto Mondesi are at the top with 6. Whit Merrifield, Derek Fisher, Stephen Piscotty, Adam Eaton, Max Kepler, Eddie Rosario, and Miles Straw all tied for the third most triples in the American League. They all have 4. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 9. Second best is Victor Robles with 6, and Chris Bryant and Hunter Pence are tied for third best with 5. Home run leaders in the American League, there's a 3-way tie for the league best. J.D. Martinez, Justin Upton, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. all tied with 25. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 30, Paul Goldschmidt second best with 27, and Christian Yelich is third best with 20. RBI leaders in the American League, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 74, Chris Davis and Jorge Soler tied for second best with 68. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has 75, 15 behind him is Christian Yelich with 60, and Cody Bellinger is third best with 59. Runs scored leaders in the American League, Yohan Moncada, J.D. Martinez, and Marcus Semien all have the most with 59. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. at the top with 66 runs scored this season. Stolen base leaders in the American League, Adalberto Mondesi has 19 stolen bases, D. Gordon second best with 15, and Whit Merrifield and Malik Smith are tied for third best with 14. In the National League, Starling Marte has the most with 28, Trey Turner second best with 27, and Jonathan Villar rounds out the top 3 with 21. Walks leaders in the American League, Alex Bregman has the most with 52, and in the National League, Rhys Hoskins has the most with 55. On-base percentage leaders in the American League, Carlos Santana at the top with a 432, Alex Bregman second best with a 432, and Miguel Cabrera third best with 429. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has a 473 on-base percentage, which leads the NL. Christian Yelich second best with a 433, and Dansby Swanson third best with a 424. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League, Josh Donaldson at the top with a 653, J.D. Martinez second best with a 638, and Yohan Moncada third best with a 634. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has the biggest slugging percentage with a 748, Ronald Acuna Jr. second best with a 733, and Christian Yelich rounds out the top 3 with a 681. On-base percentage plus slugging percentage leaders in the American League, Josh Donaldson's at a 1.062. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt's at a 1.221. Moving on to pitcher leaderboards, starting with wins leaders in the American League, Kenta Maeda and Hyunjin Ryu have the most wins in the AL with 9. Carlos Carrasco and Jake Odorizzi tied for third best with 8. In the National League, Walker Buehler has 11, and there's a large tie for second best. Steven Strasburg, Kyle Hendricks, Robbie Ray, Jimmy Nelson, Madison Bumgarner, and Jack Flaherty all have 8 wins. Losses leaders in the American League, Chris Bassett and Kenta Maeda still undefeated on the mound this year. In the National League, Carlos Martinez has the least amount of losses with 1 on the year. Saves leaders in the American League, Liam Hendricks has 28, Brad Hand has 27, Michael Givens and Roberto Ozuna are tied for third best with 23. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos has 28, and Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen are tied for second best with 26. ERA leaders in the American League, Kenta Maeda has the lowest earned run average with a 2.31, Jordan Zimmerman second best with a 2.61, and Jake Odorizzi third best with a 2.76. In the National League, Marcus Stroman under 2, he's at a 1.99, Walker Buehler second best with a 2.25, and Carlos Martinez third best with a 2.34. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers, Mike Minor, Brad Peacock, and Gio Gonzalez have all allowed the least amount of home runs with 7. In the National League, Garrett Richards has allowed the least amount of home runs with 4. Shutout leaders in the American League, Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka is still at the top of this list. They have 3 shutouts on the year. Jake Odorizzi is third best with 2. In the National League, Jacob deGrom has 3. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Merrill Kelly, and Walker Buehler are all tied for second best with 2. Strikeout leaders in the American League, Garrett Cole leads with 131. Lucas Giolito and Carlos Carrasco tied for second best with 118. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has 131. Steven Strasburg one behind him with 130. And Robbie Ray rounds out the top 3 with 120. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers, Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka have thrown 3 complete games. Aaron Savali and Jake Odorizzi are tied for third best with 2. In the National League, Aaron Nola, Jacob deGrom, and Zach Wheeler are all tied for the top with 3 complete games on the year. Merrill Kelly and Walker Buehler tied for 4th best with 2 on the year. Innings pitch leaders in the American League, Hyunjin Ryu has the most with 109. In the National League, Aaron Nola has the most with 112. Walks allowed among American League pitchers, Carlos Carrasco has 14 walks allowed, which is the least amount among American League pitchers. In the National League, Brett Anderson has 19, and he is at the top spot. Whip leaders in the American League, Carlos Carrasco has a 105 whip, Jake Odorizzi second best with a 107. Dylan Bundy and Hyunjin Ryu each have a 108. They're 3 and 4 on this list. In the National League, Aaron Nola is at a .99 whip. Marcus Stroman second best with a 1.01 whip, and third best is Clayton Kershaw with a 105. Pitching WAR leaders in the American League, Shane Bieber has a 2.7, Carlos Carrasco has a 2.5, Jake Odorizzi and Masahiro Tanaka each have a 2.4. They make up the top 4 on this leaderboard. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has a 2.8, Aaron Nola second best with a 2.6. Robbie Ray also has a 2.6, slightly lower than Nola's, and Steven Strasburg also had a 2.6, slightly lower than Ray's, but they all make up the top 4 on this leaderboard. Batting WAR leaders in the American League, Marcus Semien has a 5.1 WAR, Alex Bregman, Yohan Moncada, and DJ LeMahieu all have a 4.6. That's the top 4 on this list. And in the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a 6, Christian Yelich is at a 5.4, and slightly below Yelich's is Paul Goldschmidt, who also has a 5.4. They make up the top 3 on this leaderboard. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Sunday, June the 21st, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's virtual network.